Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Caspian and I read a lot of books, mainly library books and thrifted books. So this is my Easter reading vlog. So I'm going to have like a readathon for myself during the Easter days. Today is Thursday and it is around 11 a.m. I'm just fixing up some lunch. And I have until Monday around noon-ish, I would say, maybe afternoon, but I'm gonna say noon. Monday noon. So from today, that is Thursday the 2nd of April, until Monday the 6th of April. That's when I'm gonna do this. So what am I gonna do? Well, I'm going to use my TBR game to pick my reads, and I'm going to roll once, read that book, roll again, read that book, and see how far I get during these 5 days, and how many books I can read or how much. And it's just fun. I haven't never done this before, like done it on like a time crunch like this, and it's not that much of a time crunch. It's not like 24 hours and 48 hours and no sleep. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to do everything that I normally do. It's just that I've taken these days off so I can focus on just this, and I'm gonna clean. I have one job that I have put on myself for this Easter weekend, and that is spring cleaning. Needless to say, I don't celebrate Easter. So yeah, I'm probably gonna explain some stuff during and that sort of thing. So let's just jump into my first roll, because I am going to have some lunch, and then yeah, my day have been, I actually got up like 5:30, I don't know why, and then yeah, I've done some stuff that I needed to do, and I went do some last minute shopping so that I can just be during the weekend. I can just be, and yeah, the weather's gonna suck, so what a perfect weekend to do some indoor cleaning and reading, right? So let's jump into my first roll. So this is my board. If you've seen my TBR game before, you know what it is. This is my little man that I have today. It's a penguin. I have no priority reads this time. This is my Sunpick jar. So let's just go into my first roll. Tush, Thurisas. So if you follow my channel, you know that I, in my TBR for April, my TBR game video, talked about this. Maybe this might come up, that I need to read a brick, because now I ended up on that rune. The rune of Thurisas is pick a brick, a book over 500 pages. I'm going to be nice to myself, because I have books that I want to read this month, so even though I don't have priority reads, I have books that I plan to read amongst, and I won't go outside of those if I don't have to. And I don't really care to read a really big book, because if I were to go outside of my own like little TBR box that I have, then I would have to read something really hefty, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna be nice to myself and pick the biggest book among those books that I have. It's like 10 books I have to choose from, and that's this one, Kings of the Wild. It's 494 pages, so it's just shy of the 500 page mark that is a brick in my own definition for my game. So this is a fantasy book, Clay Cooper and his band were once the best of the best, the most feared and renowned crew of mercenaries this side of the Heartwild. Their glory days long past, the mercs have grown apart and grown old, fat, drunk, or a combination of the three. Then an ex-bandmate turns up at Clay's door with a plea for help. The kind of mission that only the very brave or the very stupid would sign up for. It's time to get the band back together. So that's what I'm gonna read for my first read, and I will get back to you when I have, when I'm really into the book. Around maybe 100, 150 pages, and let you know what I think. So, see you then. Just have to say, I love me a map. Look at this. It's hard to get all of it in picture. Okay, so I decided to join some sprints to really get some reading done. I paused it, I shut down the sound. But yeah, I'm joining Vanessa for her sprints today. Okay, so I have come 150-ish, 160 pages into this one. I meant to talk about it like an hour ago, but then I had some other stuff to do, and then I had a workout, and now I'm here. And yeah, and I read 10 extra pages since then, because I had some fika, and I read in the meantime. So, here we are. I like it, but it's okay. So far, they are still getting the band together. I think they have one dude left to see if he wanna join them again. I think so. And I do enjoy like the humor, the banter, the characters. I don't enjoy some of the language or the writing style because, well, it is high fantasy and it can always be a bit tricky, especially when English isn't your first language. But there are so many creatures, there are so many different things to address, and that have names that I just don't get. And it's a bit mind-boggling. So, for instance, this sentence here. Two white-feathered okra were yoked to its traces, mewling like sheep as they drew to a stop. It took me several heartbeats to understand what that was. At first I was just like, I don't understand, let's just move on. And then afterwards it became clear what an akra was. And so that's a problem sometimes, because I don't enjoy reading about something, having to wrap my head around it and then have it explained. But at the same time, at the beginning of the book, there were long paragraphs just explaining things. And I was just bored. It wasn't like info dumping, it was just very descriptive. And, when like something happens and it takes the book like 10 pages to explain a small event because of all of the things around it. And my mind just went kind of blank in some areas, like in some instances. And I was like, what did I just read? What? And the thing is, I don't feel like the things that were explained were the things that I needed to know. So I don't know. So another problem is the long sentences. I don't know about English, but when I grew up, when I went to school, my teacher, this was Swedish, grammar and stuff like that, and just writing overall, like that kind of class. I don't remember if the English teacher said something of the like as well, but I grew up taught that you shouldn't have a sentence longer than 40 words. That is quite long, because you can like divide it up. And I'm used to in English that there are more sentences than necessary sometimes. I'm like, you could just have put a comma there. Why isn't this a sentence? The grammar and the structure of sentences is different in Swedish and English, and I understand that. But when a sentence is more than 40 words, it's hard to keep up with what the sentence is even trying to tell you, because it's like it's referring to something at the end of the sentence, is referring to something at the beginning of the sentence, and I'm like, where was I? What? And this happens quite frequently, that the author is just like, it could be almost like a list, but the author made a sentence out of it. If it would have been a list of things, then I would have gotten a grip of it. But because it's a long sentence, you know, you try to keep up in another way. And I'm like, so when that happens, I have to read it like three times. And that's not really what I wanted to do this weekend. To have to read something like 3 times. I wanted to read a lot this weekend, and I was unfortunate enough to be, you know, end up on a place on my board for the first roll that made me have to pick a big book. And it doesn't help that it is, you know, structured in this manner. So I am enjoying the story in a way. They haven't really gotten anywhere with the story yet. It's kind of a cozy fantasy mixed in with some fighting so far, and I do enjoy that, but I do kind of trail off when the fighting is too much. So I do enjoy the characters. I do enjoy it enough to want to keep reading, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I would have wanted to at this stage, because I feel like the characters make me wanna, you know, curl up on the sofa with a cup of tea. But then the sentences and the writing style makes me, you know, be drawn out of the story, and I often need to put it down, do something else, and then get back to it and read again. And that's not, it's like counterproductive, because yeah, I don't know, it's just, I'm not all that thrilled. So right now it's a 3-star read, and those are mainly stars because of the characters. I really do enjoy the characters. So it is currently the 2nd day of this vlog. It is afternoon, about 2:30, and I was hoping to read all of this today, and I still feel like it can be done, but it depends on the writings, and it depends on how much I want to put it down. And it's sad that I want to put it down. I would have liked this weekend to be more of like cozy, and just the reading to flow a bit. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I will talk to you when I finished it, I think, unless something happens. Okay. Well, it's day 3 of this readathon that isn't going quite as planned. I am still at it because it has evened out in a bit, like, or maybe I have gotten into the world building and either that or I've just given up on understanding some of the words and just going with the story in a way. That happens sometimes when I'm like, I don't get this anyway, I'm just gonna go with the flow. So I am about halfway through. I would have liked to come a bit further yesterday, but I had a really weird day yesterday. And so the clip that you saw with the snowing is from this morning. It's around 2:45 in the afternoon now. So yesterday I just felt really restless, and there wasn't like it rained and rained and rained, and I felt restless. So I had this, you know, everything that I told you yesterday about the book. I felt all of that. So it was like I picked up the book sometimes, but I didn't read many pages at a time, and then I did clear some stuff out, started cleaning. I'm like halfway through in the bathroom. That feels good. And I went several times to take some trash out. We are the kind of people that, you know, we bring a package home and then the package and the filler stuff just sits in a corner, and then that piles up, and then one of us, usually me when I have the time, take it all to where we throw it, because we can't really throw it just in our own bin. We have to. Sweden is very much about sorting and recycling, which adds an extra layer to it. But yeah, so I have done all of that stuff, like cleared a lot of that stuff, and I have gone through stuff that took a bit longer to go through than I would have thought, like things. Yeah, like things I sold a cottage a few years back, and I had brought stuff home and hadn't really gone through them yet. Just had them standing in a corner, and so those kind of things I have finally gone through. So it's been like yesterday was a weird day, and then today I woke up and it had started snowing, and I had a headache. I had a headache when I woke up, and I just like 45 minutes ago, I was rid of the headache after taking a long nap. So I have been doing some reading today, but since I had a headache like all morning, I swear I was up at around 8 o'clock. Yeah, which was very good, because I didn't fall asleep until like 1 in the morning because of this restlessness, and I know now that it's connected a lot to the weather. And this morning it was like I was going on like this, and then I had the headache, and then I finally wanted to get a nap when it was at its worst. After I woke up from the nap, I feel a lot better, but it's taking me all day. So it's not migraine, it's something connected to the weather. There are, you know, scientific evidence that for some people headaches can be connected to the weather. So that is me. So that's where I'm at. So I'm just gonna go with the flow this weekend, and I hope this isn't the only book I read, because that's not much of a game. But who knows? I have given up trying to control this. I didn't really think I was gonna be able to control it at all. I didn't. But I had this vision of at least reading like a book a day and starting off with something around like 300 pages, which is doable, very doable for a day. Yeah, like something like that. So I had, as I said yesterday, I think, a vision of like reading at least 3 books over 5 days, not 1. But it is what it is, and I couldn't predict, you know, how I felt yesterday and how I'm feeling, how I have been feeling today. And I still have a lot of cleaning to do because I didn't manage a lot yesterday. Well, I did manage some. I haven't managed a lot today. That's where I was going. I haven't managed a lot today. I've done like bits and pieces, like small stuff, but not anything big, and I still have a lot of things to do in, you know, the last couple of days of this weekend. So we'll see where we end up. Yeah, that's it for now. So it is Sunday evening, if I'm not mistaken. This weekend, this long weekend of Easter have been long but short. So it's still one day left. Tomorrow's Monday, and I have finished this. Finally. Finally. So I ended up enjoying it enough to want to keep going. There were a few times where I had to like, okay, I'm gonna pick it up now. Now I'm gonna pick it up. And not just, oh, I'm gonna pick it up. So, yeah, I did enjoy it. And I don't want to say too much about the rest of the story because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Because I am fully aware that the language barrier is one of the things that made me have a hard time with the writing style. However, I also realized that I don't really like battles. And so towards the end of this book there's a battle, of course, and I was like skimming a lot of it. And one thing that has to do with that is that I am one of those people that enjoy like a glossary or a list of what is what and who is who in a book, especially. Okay, where was I? Because I got a call. So this book, right? Yeah, I was saying that I am one of those people that enjoy a glossary of like who's who, what's what. Because one thing that was kind of annoying with this book was that there was a lot of creatures that I had no way of knowing what they were. And so during the battle it was like pages, like page up and down with just there were this and there were this and there were this and there were that and there were this, and I was like, I don't know what this is. I can't really, as I said in the beginning of this vlog, I visualize a lot, and if I don't know what something is and there's no explanation to what it looks like, because it rarely was, then I'm just so yeah, not one of my favorites. I would say I really like the characters still. The best bit of this is the characters, the character development, the friendship, and yeah, one thing I really enjoyed was the level of realism. You know what I mean? That in some fantasy, and especially in like where there are some battles or a lot of violence, authors can make people or the characters like endure anything without suffering. or it's like they are almost immortal, but they're not, and you're just like, that's not realistic. This book felt more realistic than other books I have read, definitely. They really suffered with every blow, but they kept going, and you got an understanding of how they could and what made them, and also they did need rest, they did need food, they did need to heal and that sort of thing. So in one point of the book, there's one person that breaks his arm, and he has it in like a sling, I think that's the word, for a long time, and he avoids doing things because he is hurt and he still needs to heal. And even when they regrow limbs, some of them, it takes time. It's not like this. So that is one thing I really appreciated with this book. So I give it a 3 stars. 3 stars. If the writing had been more to my liking, if I had understood what everything was when it came to creatures and that sort of thing, then it might have gotten a 4-star rating from me. So with that said, let's see if I can read one more book in this vlog. So I just have to say, I have done so much cleaning today. I really have done so much cleaning. I have done the entire kitchen and the entire bathroom, except for the little bits of the bathroom that I did yesterday. So tomorrow I have like smaller, simpler stuff left. I'm going to do all of the surfaces, and I'm also going to replant some plants, give them new soil, and then after that I'm going to vacuum the entire apartment. I have vacuumed, you know, chosen areas while I have been cleaning today, but I'm so happy about this spring cleaning. Yeah, I have done almost everything I set out to do, so yeah, that feels good. Let's get into my next role. So, the Rune of Canas is a passion pick. So I decided on this one. Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi, or however you pronounce that. So this is the story of Saphira opening a baby dragon cafe for baby dragons and their owners, and she finds herself having to replace a lot of furniture because baby dragons, they don't really have control over their fire breathing abilities. And one day there is this guy that comes in through the door with his baby dragon, and his baby dragon is really like unruly, and he and Saphira thinks that they might be each other's solutions to their problems, because he says he can pay her good money, a lot of money, if she raises or trains his baby dragon. The Swedish word that is used could be both train and raise in this context, so I don't really know, but I think train a baby dragon is probably more like it, because a raise would imply that she lives with it, I think. But anyway, so this is, I hope this is cute. It is a gamble because all of the people I've seen talk about it don't like it. They have been disappointed. So we'll see. It's a plus that it's in Swedish. I found it on the Feel Good shelf. So let's see if it feels good. Good evening. If I look as red-nosed as I feel, then that is true. Okay, so it is Monday evening. It is the 6th of April. It is the last day of this vlog. So, how far have I come? Well, when it comes to the cleaning, I've done all the cleaning. I'm all cleaned out. I'm just so exhausted. Another reason I'm exhausted is because yesterday I was cleaning, right? And the funny thing is, this is so funny, okay? It is funny, but it's not funny. Okay, so with the bottle that I used for the bathroom, it had these warnings on it that if you get it on your person, you should like... It literally said this. If you get it in your eyes, you should kind of call the emergency, with an emergency number. If you get it on your skin, you should like rinse it a lot because it can irritate. Great. Okay, read all that, had my mouth thing on, took my socks off, stepped into the shower to clean the shower. So I sprayed all of this stuff all around me. Not on me, but all around me. I didn't inhale it because I had a thing on. But then I stood in there and used the shower to rinse it all off. And where does the water go? Where does all this crap go? It goes down where my bare feet are. And I didn't think about it. And I was in there for like 20 minutes or something. And I didn't think about it. I did wash my feet afterwards, but not with, the toxicity of the stuff in mind. Not at all. Just because they felt kinda like spongy afterwards because they were so wet or whatever. So I cleaned my feet and put on new clean socks. And then I woke up and I felt so sick. I'm laughing because I'm so stupid. I'm just so stupid. I woke up and felt so sick. And I got like a heartburn. I never get a heartburn. That's not in this body's like bodily vocabulary. That's not a thing. So it's so funny to me when I wake up and I'm like, what? What? I was like, this is weird. And then I just, I had a headache after the symptoms came and went, and then but I managed it, and it was so nice to be outside. It has been storming today. It's been stormy today. So the winds have been like, the windows rattles. And I've been outside like 4 times because it's been so nice to just have the cold on my skin and in my face. And so around 4 this afternoon, it is actually 9:15 p.m. right now. So around 4 p.m. I started to have like a sniffle. My nose. And it hasn't stopped. It's been like lighter and then it's come back again. So I'm just still feeling so weird. And I am 100% sure that it's because I was stupid enough to stand in the shower and let that thing just wash over my face for 20 minutes. So yeah. So unnecessary. So, what about the book? Well, this is where I'm at. So I am 122 pages in, and it's 309 pages long. That's where I'm at the end of this vlog. I don't think I will cram my thoughts on this into this vlog, but most probable, is that a thing? I'm going to do like a reading update with this one. But I'm also thinking that I don't want to end my game here, so this vlog is done, but I think I'm gonna try and use my reading game throughout the rest of the month, just for fun. So maybe I'll do something with that, or I would just, we'll see. So you'll notice if I have crammed in the, review for this in this video. You'll know. So I like the female main character better than the male main character. He's just so a bit annoying. But I'm sure he will have this character arc. I think so. And it feels YA. It doesn't feel adult. It feels YA. It feels the way it looks. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about it. It's cute. It's adorable. They are adorable. But he's a bit annoying. That's kind of all I have to say right now. So yeah, I will see you in whatever comes next. And I'm very sorry that I couldn't finish even 2 books in this vlog. But it is what it is. And so what have I learned during this journey, this readathon? Well, I have learned that, well, next time I'm going to have a readathon of any kind. Especially if the point is to do it like in a time, within a time frame. Don't have anything else planned. It was just the cleaning really got in the way. And the second thing, I had prepared to not have to work anything during these days. But I still found myself needing to do stuff, so plan better. Caspian, plan better. And I also learned that I do feel stressed. But I think that has to do with the lack of planning. I thought I had planned it, but I hadn't. Not good enough. And it also had to do with that I had to clean as well. And it also had to do with me being like sick half the time. And I'm not just talking about today. I'm talking about the 2 days I had a headache because of the weather. That was so unfortunate. So the last thing I learned is that life goes on. You think you can just schedule a break. You can try your best, but life happens anyway. So that is what I learned. So for next time, plan better, only have reading to do. And yeah, maybe that's it. So see you in whatever is next. Happy reading, everyone, and happy spring. Shingling.